Global communications firm Edelman has released its first ever mid-year update to its trust barometer. It looks at trust amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The study reveals that in just the past 5 months, there's been a record rise in trust across the four major institutions of government, business, media, and NGOs. Trust in the government has actually surged 11 points since January, making it one of the most trusted institutions for the very first time. Here to discuss the findings, CEO of Edelman, Richard Edelman. Richard, hey, great to have you on. Thank you for joining us. I'm really fascinated by this. We've got many governments that have been scrutinized for how they've responded to the pandemic. Are you surprised by these findings? And looking specifically here in the U.S., is there a difference between how federal officials are viewed versus those at the local and the state level?
So this is really like World War II. This is a different time to 2001 after 9/11 and 2008 after the Great Recession. This is a global pandemic. It is cross industries. It is having an economic and a health effect. And therefore, government becomes the last bastion of trust. Now, we believe this is actually a trust bubble, that it won't last longer than Christmas because people will be disappointed when their jobs don't come back and when they run out of PPP funds. But for now, government for the first time is the most trusted institution in the world. Now, in the US, it's interesting that trust in local government is a very important part of overall government trust. And I think that makes it different from the rest of the world. Federal government trust very much depends on whether you are a Republican or a Democrat. If you're a Republican, very high trust in the federal government, Democrats not so much. But local government and state, Democrats higher than Republicans.
Interesting to hear you say about this trust bubble. As the country moves to reopen, there's this debate between, do we save lives or do we save the economy? What do people view the government should be the government's top priority right now?
I would say that's a false choice. And I would hope that everyone obeys health officials as to what is safe for employees, customers, and the community. But when business is open, it is down to business to decide how to rearrange the restaurants. For example, Starbucks is actually opening stores, but minimizing the in-store seating and making sure that each employee has PPE and that customers stay 6 feet apart from each other in line. So that's a safe way to proceed. So it's going to be on business. Airlines, for example, do you wear a mask before you get on the flight? Probably so. Health passports for hotels. It's an important matter to put health first, but then business has to use this moment of reopening as a major opportunity to reignite the economy. It's all based on trust.
I want to turn to the business sector. How does the public feel about how CEOs and big corporations have handled this pandemic?
So business is not doing well yet. I think business is actually, if you think about it like a bike race, they've sort of gone behind the lead biker, and that's actually been government so far. But now it's time for business to pull up and ahead because the reopening is all down to business execution. And so thus far, there are some concerns about treatment of employees, about actually having products available. But the smart companies, Unilever, for example, are extending credit terms for small business so that they don't have to pay so quickly, are also making a big effort to educate consumers through their brands. For example, how to wash your hands appropriately, 20 seconds, top and bottom, in between, all good, because brands should not be silent now. Brands have to tell the communities how they're actually adapting their products also to a less affluent time. We have 30 million Americans who are now unemployed or underemployed, and we have to have products that are priced appropriately, that are available in smaller sizes, and that suit people's budgets. This is important like heck.
Richard, there are so many people who want to return to work. And when you look at health authorities, government officials, business leaders, who do people feel should be the one to call that shot and make the determination about whether you do go back to work?
It's not politicians and it's not business executives. It's health experts. It's doctors. It's people with expertise. They have to tell us when it is safe. And we may have another outbreak. And it cannot be a blame game between business and government. We have to be on the same team. And if you're thinking about this bike race again, I love the idea of business and government being at the same pace and riding alongside each other as they go across the finish line. Because it's absolutely going to be the health experts, Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx, and others who are going to carry this forward.
Richard Edelman. Richard, great to see you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.